London or Europe. But of course, last week you opened the show here in London with Bon Jovi. What was that experience like?
It was great. You know, we really enjoyed playing the shows. The Hammersmith is a real good hall. I mean, the place has got great acoustics, and we're just pleased to be here. We've had to make a quick turnaround because we were doing some shows stateside right up until just a couple weeks ago. So once we had the option, you know, to come over here and do the shows with Bon Jovi, we were very excited about it. So we just rushed to be able to come over.
Michael, the last time I saw the band actually perform in London was with Dio, of course. That was 2 years ago, 1984. Now, I'd imagine that the Dio audience you played to then was quite different from the Bon Jovi audience you're probably playing to at the moment.
Oh, yes. The Dio crowd was a lot more leather.
Hardcore.
Yeah, you know, and playing with Bon Jovi is very, it's something new over here because we see females.
Right, I was going to say, I mean, for one thing I noticed was you got more girls at the gigs. I mean, of course, Bon Jovi had this huge success in the charts at the moment over here with their singles. Do you think that that kind of chart audience which they're now attracting, are they warming to what you're doing for them every night?
Yeah, we anticipated that you know, that they've probably brought in a lot of new people themselves with the chart activity on their record, and so we anticipated that not too many people would really be that familiar with us, although we do have, you know, fans over here. So we just approached it as we were going to be the heavier act on the bill, and hopefully we might be able to pull some of those beautiful ladies, especially the ones that's on their tour pass. If she was over here, you know, we were hoping that she might come to the show.
Now, the last time we saw you was just a few months ago, and you had what for me is probably one of the hard rock albums of the year about to be released, Rage for Order. What have the band been up to since the album came out?
Touring.
Yeah.
Mostly in America, though.
Yes.
Yeah, we started off with AC/DC in the southern United States, and we worked 5.5 weeks with AC/DC, and then we had a long break of 3 days before we jumped onto the Ozzy Osbourne tour, which lasted 5.5 weeks as well. And then we did headline shows.
You seem to do a lot of these support slots. I mean, I've seen you supporting Iron Maiden, I've seen you supporting Bon Jovi now, Dio. You just mentioned AC/DC, Ozzy Osbourne. When do you think you yourselves are actually going to pluck up the courage and go out there on your own?
Well, we did about 2.5 weeks of headlining shows in the States, and we had a real elaborate, you know, stage setup, 2 48-foot semis full of gear. And I think as far as headlining in Europe, it costs a bit more to organize, you know, and fly our things over here and whatnot. So we're aiming for that in the very near future, but we're just patient to, you know, the tours we've been on have been really good exposure for us, and we're in it for the long haul. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not going to be
the long haul and the exposure.
Yeah, it's not going to be a quick thing, I think, as far as.
All right, let's give you a bit more.
Unless, of course, we win the lottery of millions of pounds or something.
Yeah.
Well, I can't do that for you, but I can show one of your videos. Let's have a look at some of your music right now.
No, I think fortunately, when our record company EMI signed us, they did so with in mind that, you know, we were going to be an act that would establish ourselves over a number of albums, and I don't think, you know, we certainly aren't expected to concentrate around hit singles, you know, through very heavy touring and just continuing to make records. That, you know, that's our strength in continuing to sell records, you know. I think, you know, the band's accessible as far as the airwaves go, but that's up to the programmers as well.
Yes.
And we're just going to continue to write the best music we can the way that we'd like to do it, and the record company so far has been very supportive of what we've done. And I think you know, success in big sales numbers is definitely around the bend for us. It's just our persistence that's going to get us there.
Yeah, I hope so. So tell me now, what happens right now after you've finished these dates with Bon Jovi? You've just done London, you're doing some European dates with the band. What next is there for Queensryche?
Well, Michael, would you like to handle that question?
I think we have some things to reassess when we get back home, and we've been writing riffs on the road and getting ready to write the next album.
Yeah, we've been very much focused in that direction, concentrating on that. And we have some, our management situation is in the process of changing, so we're working on that, which is part of the reason why some of our headlining shows that we had initially scheduled for Europe have been rescheduled. We might be back again fairly soon, within a couple months, but that's up in the air.
I've had these promises before.
No, I said might. I said might with a big capital M. Big capital M might.
All right, let's have a look now at some more Queensryche music. All right, now, before I let you go, guys, I've got a couple of off-the-wall questions, as we call them. First is a did you know? Now, did you know, here's a did you know question for you, that we have a famous horror writer in England called Sean Hudson, who has appeared on this show. Apart from being a horror writer, he's a huge rock and roll fan. In fact, he's such a fan that he litters his horrific books with quotes from Queensryche songs, Dio songs, Iron Maiden songs. In fact, his new book begins with a quote from one of the Queensryche songs, "Beware of night, for we all know he's loose again." Now, did you know that?
This is news to us.
No?
We're flattered. That's great. Sounds like it'll be a good book.
Does he sell a lot of books?
He sells an awful lot of books, yeah. All right, now, the other thing, of course, is I want you to expose to the world Mr. Jeff Tate, your singer. Where is he today? And tell us why he couldn't make the interview.
Yeah, Jeff was hoping that he'd probably be able to get away with this, but Jeff's upstairs, and he's taken ill for this first portion of the day, right? I mean, he's supposedly going to recover.
I understand it's something to do with him not being quite used to our British beer, is that right?
Actually, we could blame it on the record company because they threw a party for us last night, but we won't do that.
Let's blame the record company.
No, it's entirely, I think, on Jeff's shoulders. He was sampling all sorts of different beers last night and just, you know, feeling a bit under the weather this morning. That's the official reason.
You mean he's actually collapsed in the hotel room and can't make it down the stairs?
Well, the official reason, I think, is that, you know, he's fallen ill just for a brief amount of time this morning. Nothing to do with partying or any of those things.
Certainly not. Okay, now, but you've hinted that you may be coming back for some headline shows in Britain and Europe. Can you be a bit more specific? Do you know when we will finally see the Queensryche hit the road in Britain and Europe on their own, headlining, album out, full throttle?
Probably a safer answer would be after the next album. But I don't know. You know, we definitely want to come back and present our headlining show because we spent a great deal of time working it out. It was, you know, pretty elaborate setup, and for us it was definitely that our fans would get to see, you know, a Queensryche presentation. We were playing some of our more elaborate material off this new album and the Warning album, songs that were, you know, had some real intense staging ideas happening with them. So I think we'd definitely like to come back as soon as possible, but
it's a long way of saying next year, maybe.
Actually, yeah, I was very much escaping, I guess, the direct question, which is going to be our management situation is taking priority after this tour. We're sorting through that, so once that's organized, we'll see. Probably the studio next. We're already writing stuff, so that's...
Well, listen, Michael Wilton, Chris Tagama, I wish you lots of luck with your next album, and I hope to see you playing over here very soon. Thank you very much.